press live. Hello. G'day, Groovers. Bachula. Mel Mac was here early and probably won't be here now, but that's cool. How's everyone doing? Oh, you did? Right. I'm just grabbing some food. It's a bit ironic or hypocritical or whatever. Went to the gym. That guy that just waved at me just debated the referendum coming up on October the 14th.
Did you have the crispy chicken nuggets?
No, I didn't. I'm at McDonald's. I never eat McDonald's, but I'm running late. So I'm like, I've got to get some food. Live Eat over the road. Much better food, but really busy. Yes, I just got into a really interesting conversation with the dude behind me in the drive-thru at McDonald's, of all places, who is very much vote no. Hey, Scout, you're just in time. We'll be going over your favourite causeway soon. I'm just waiting to get a little sausage muffin and little cappuccino to have on my way in. We're doing a march today for YES23, the referendum coming up in October, to recognise our First Nations people in our constitution, but also to allow discussion about creating an advisory body called The Voice, where our First Nations people will get to weigh in on matters that influence their lives. And I'm obviously Team Yes, but I don't mind if Team No people come into the chat. In fact, bring it on. But yeah, unfortunately, I had a very privileged white man in a, fancy, expensive work truck behind me in the drive-thru who's adamant that we're all equal. And the thing is, we're not. That's the whole point we're having this friggin' referendum. Hey, Mel Mac. Hey, Emily. I'm off to a Sunday protest, although I was running late. I thought I'll just grab food at McDonald's. And I've been at McDonald's for like 20 minutes, which means at the other end, there could be a mad dash for me to get to the meeting place where we're all heading out from. I was planning on parking at the regatta grounds where the actual march ends, and then just straight on the highway head home. But there's not a lot of parking up there, and I imagine a lot of people have got the same idea. So I might park a bit closer into the city and then just do a quick dash up to the mall where the march is kicking off. But yeah, someone took great offence to me having a "I'm voting yes" sticker on the back of my car just then. It's a shame I wasn't live because he thinks that all Australians are equal, and yet our First Nations people, as is the case in many colonised countries, are actually the most marginalised population in the country, and they don't have a voice. And also people don't listen. I've missed everyone too. I love a good protest march too. Although this isn't a protest, this is a positive message that we're trying to get people fired up to make a decision, because it's the undecideds that are the problem. The ones that are firm no's, so far I still haven't actually heard a good argument for voting no. They just seem to be deeply entrenched in, racist points of view or Australian apathy, which is a real problem here. I put on Facebook earlier, a lot of the no people are saying as soon as we're door knocking as well, and they're like, oh, I'm sick of hearing about this. And I just keep saying to them, well, our First Nations people are probably sick of not being heard. Thank you very much. Thank you. That was pointless. I could have gone to a really nice bakery. Yeah, we've got a referendum on October the 14th to amend our constitution, which as a lawyer is a pretty friggin' exciting concept that could even happen in my lifetime on a matter that's I think, critical. And so the amendment will firstly recognise First Nations people as the first Australians, obviously. Nothing like being literal. And hey, my girl waffles. And secondly, it's to also put together an advisory body called the Voice, which will allow our First Nations people to contribute to discussions on matters regarding them. And that's really it. It's a very simple concept. But the people that are voting no, who are white and privileged, I keep waiting for them to give me a really good argument for voting no, and they can't. And the thing is, if the yes vote gets up on the 14th, when we all wake up on the 15th of October, none of our lives are going to change unless we are marginalised First Nations people. It's a bit like the marriage equality vote, right? That so many people had a fucking issue with. But at the end of the day, it didn't impact our lives at all. It actually, don't forget, guys, if you guys want to chat with me, I've now got prescription sunnies, which is very exciting. But I can't read long messages or anything in lowercase still, even with prescription sunglasses on. So please don't think I'm ignoring anything in chat. If you're not yelling at me, I won't be able to read it anyway. I'm not going to be able to read a lot of chat anyway because it's a bit different driving into town on a Sunday than it is driving to work, you know, in traffic. But yeah, you know, the 15th of October, the day after the referendum, when we all wake up, if you're already a white privileged Australian, your life is not going to be impacted at all. But it could change the lives of our marginalised First Nations people. And oh, this is hot. Oh, that's why I had to wait. They had to cook it from scratch. I rarely eat McDonald's, but when I do, I'm like, oh yeah, if you got a good one. Mind you, I feel like shit afterwards, but that's okay. It's better to have something in my tummy than nothing. So yeah, it's not going to impact any privileged white Australians' lives, but it could change our most marginalised Australians who are our First Nations. They're traditional landowners, you know, and they're not heard. And people go, oh, well, there's 11 Indigenous politicians that have been elected. There's your voice. Well, that's not how politics works, fuckwit. It's not how Parliament works. Like, they're not voted in to be the voice of their clans. They're voted in to be the voice of their constituents in their electorate. But it's the apathetic Australians that we're trying to at least engage in. Pretty passive from our end. I mean, I'm a lot more fired up talking to you guys now than I am when I'm chatting to people out and about in the wild, when I'm door knocking and letterboxing and manning booths and chatting to people. The Yes campaign has been really positive but really passive. Like, we're interested in hearing everyone's story and how they feel, but it's really trying to get the undecided to make a change. Oh yes, of course, sorry. We went over the causeway, sorry. I was in the political mind frame and eating a muffin. Oh, you got it as a disease too. Well, we have compulsory voting in Australia, which, you know, I really like. I'm a fan of it. But you're not really, voting isn't actually that compulsory. Rocking up to the polling booth and have your name ticked off is what is compulsory, because once you go in to vote, if you're a fuckwit, you draw a penis on the ballot paper and pop that in the box. You don't actually vote. And a lot of Australians do that and think it's friggin' hilarious. Or they don't rock up and they pay a $50 fine. But hi to anyone rolling on in. You're getting to, it's very windy on this causeway. But the majority of Australians do vote without throwing their vote. Which is good, because, you know, majority rules in a democracy. But I really wish the people who threw their votes, or the Americans who choose to not vote, I wish they got to live in a communist country, even for, like, depending on which country you pick, but many of them, even 4 weeks living there, you would appreciate the fuck out of your vote, and you would make sure when you got home to the US or to Australia, you would never ever treat your vote like an obligation or a chore. You would value it and respect it, and you would vote. Because in other parts of the world, people don't get a say in who governs them, and we all know what it's like watching on from our privileged Western democratic countries, what it must be like for people living in communist regimes. Look at me being all political. Sometimes you just gotta, you know. The only impact the referendum will have on me is if no gets up. If the outcome is no, then reluctantly and sadly, I'm going to have to accept that I live in the most passively racist country in the world. And that's a sad thought. I see Australia as having a chance to prove that we're progressive, we're understanding, and we want every Australian to be treated equally. And this dickhead in the ute behind me this morning, yeah, he was a dickhead because he was racist, unfortunately. But he argued that Australia wouldn't be the country that it is without colonisation. And so, based on that, why aren't descendants of convicts getting a voice in Parliament? And we fucking are. I mean, I'm a descendant of convicts on both sides of my family. They both came out on the First Fleet. And some of you guys know my story pretty well. I'm from a family of friggin' politicians. Oh my God, has someone become a member? Well, I mean, thank you. Thank you for becoming a member to the channel that's going backwards. I appreciate it. I don't know who it was. All I saw, I could just see a green dot, and I think it just says member. Hey, Out of Handmade Dogs. And the thing that makes me sad is that Australia right now has a chance to... Oh, you renewed. Thank you. Australia has a chance to show the rest of the world that recognising your First Nations people is a good thing to be doing in 2023. It doesn't impact any of us, except, like I said, if the outcome is no, then unfortunately a lot of Australians on the 15th of October are going to have to accept that there are more voting age racists in Australia than not. And I mean, look, I'm being a bit general. There are probably people that have reasons for voting no that may not be racist. But I haven't heard one yet. Well, actually, I have. I've heard many no arguments that are not racist, per se. But they're not informed opinions either. Like, the concept of this referendum is actually very simple, but it's been terribly muddied. The waters have been badly muddied by the No campaign. Information leaked last week that the No campaigners pretty much said to people that were voting no, just make up shit if you want to. Like, it's apparently in print. Like, it's... I've heard several different people speaking at public events discussing this document that was leaked that had a directive in it for people to make shit up, which sucks. And there's probably, well, there would be, without a doubt, an extreme yes mob that are also bullshitters, potentially. But I haven't encountered any yet. I've encountered really open-minded, friendly, positive, excited people who want to be part of a positive change. And I've spent more time in the last week, and that's why I know I've been very absent on the YouTubes, but there's so much going on in my life right now, it's insane. All great stuff. Well, finding a builder to do my bathroom is causing me a mountain of headaches, but I've still got 2 more builders to come and have a look. And if neither of them tick my boxes, I'm going to have to go back to the drawing board and call a few more. But there's a lot going on at the moment. So I haven't been on YouTube, but why was I mentioning that? I've got no friggin' idea. I love that people are still members of this poor little channel that ain't going nowhere fast. Oh, yeah, so the last week, I haven't listened to any crime channels or true crime channels or music reaction videos. I did go down a bit of a September the 11th rabbit warren, which I seem to do every year. I like listening to people's stories, and then I get really caught up in it, and then after a while I'm like, okay, that's enough. But it happens every year. I just go down this rabbit warren of listening to stories, and I hear new ones every year. And there's a lot of children who lost a parent that are now telling their stories, and as adults. So I went down a bit of that sort of road for a while. But then I've really been listening to um, a lot of people arguing why they're voting no. And we've actually got an Indigenous Australian Member of Parliament, a senator. Her name's Jacinta Price, who has been very outspoken and spoke at the press club, which is quite a big deal, who's voting no, along with some other Indigenous Australians who are also voting no. And because I want to understand their reasoning for that, and I want to listen with, an open mind and compassion, and also want to listen to our Indigenous Australians explaining why they voted no before I listen to another white, privileged, middle-aged Australian explaining why they're voting no, because I really don't, at the end of the day, I wish they weren't voting no, but I really don't care to hear their reasons because it doesn't impact them. But they could change somebody's life by voting yes. So I listened to Jacinta, and some of her reasoning is like very grounded and makes a lot of sense. And there are other parts of it that I kind of feel are noteworthy as well, but they're not representative of the majority of Indigenous Australians. 80% have indicated they're voting yes. And it's an interesting debate, but I wanted to listen to both sides, and then I listened to Q&A, which is a really good show. Well, it used to be great. I don't think it's as good as it used to be, but it's a proper panel show, not like a YouTube channel panel with shitloads of people talking over the top of each other and calling each other bitch. Where they get people from all different walks of life and different points of view, and they discuss current topics that are, at the forefront of active, non-apathetic Australians' dinner table conversations. And I listened to that, and there are a lot of different viewpoints, and I found that all pretty interesting as well. But nothing has made me change my mind. Nothing has compelled me to do a complete 180. And the problem is that a lot of Australians have done that. They've started out very pro-yes, and then they've gone no, and now some of them are undecided. Some of them have gone back to being yes again. Like, there's just this chaos going on. Hey, Scott. No, I'm going to a march, Groover. Bit of activism on a Sunday. Because, I've got to come to town tomorrow, Tuesday for work, 3 days in a row. Am I going to be able to get a park at the show at the regatta grounds? This is the big question, Groovers. I'm going to try. It already looks pretty packed, but yeah, there's a lot of cars coming out, so I'm thinking there may not be many parks left, if any. Huh. All right, so the next option is to go to the aquatic centre, which is on the other side of the highway. Sometimes there's a cheeky little park down in here. It's there. I'm going to pinch it. Oh, no, I better not. It's Tasports. They don't look like they work at Tasports, though. Domain slip customer parking. Well, the domain slip yard isn't actually open. Um, I don't know. What do you reckon? Should I be naughty? It says domain slip customer parking only, but the domain slip isn't actually open today. What would you guys do if you were me? Take a risk? Yeah, nobody really tows in Tassie. And there's another family that have just parked. I'm tempted to stay and be naughty. Because, yeah, nobody's come out of any of the buildings to say you can't park here. But the other option is to go down into Hunter Street and park down there. And I saw your question, Michelle. I'm just still deciding whether or not I'm going to park, because if I'm not going to park here, I need to get driving again. I mentioned her just before. She didn't convince me to change my view on this. I think I'm sticking with the 80% of Indigenous Australians who are going to be voting yes, in a nutshell. I mean, I'd love to do an actual reaction to it and respond to some of the things that she raised, but I think she's actually muddied the waters and is part of the problem. I think she had some good comments that she made, but generally the overall view of her speech, especially at the Press Club, is that I think she actually no, it's cool, Michelle, it's fine. I just didn't, I've got to decide what I'm doing. Should I stay or should I go? I think I'm going to stay. Other people have parked down here. No one, I've been sitting outside the Slipway office for, 5-10 minutes, and nobody's come out and said I can't park here. Maybe I'll just go and park over where the other people did. Although that site over there, it says Tasport's property. I mean, all the signs everywhere are saying we'll get prosecuted, but there are more people coming down here, so fuck it. Thank you, Emily. I'm just cleaning my glasses quickly before I go because I have a half an hour walk to the meeting point. Quite a few people have come down here now too, so if I'm going to get into trouble, so are they. You say park? Yeah, I think we park. Right, I've got my little jacket, I've got my bag, I've got my bottle of water. I was going to take a different bag and take some bumper stickers for people for their cars, but I've got to take a completely different bag if I do that. So I'm going to leave them and continue to give them to people when I'm door knocking. Mind you, when I'm door knocking down my way. And I'm also going to be on the pre-polling booths and a few other jobs as well. So I'll give the bumper stickers out to people that genuinely want them. There'll be all kinds of merch and shit floating around today, I'm sure of it. But I'm going to hit the road, guys. I was going to go live actually during the march, but again, I need you're all in spirit. Thank you so much. Yeah, I was going to take a tripod. Maybe I do take a different bag. Sorry, sort your shit out. Because I might go live on the march. If I take this bag, I can take my bottle of water. I can take the tripod. I can take my tool. Oh, did you guys see that? That was the roulettes. 6 planes just flew overhead. Did you see them? They're pretty awesome. There's also a concert up here afterwards. Other parts of the country have got some really good acts. We've got a guy from a band called Augie March who are great, don't get me wrong. But there's some really cool bands playing in other cities. So there's already people gathering up on the hill just to be part of the concert, not the actual march. But thank you everyone for hanging out. And yeah, I've taken my tripod, so I may go live. You never know your luck in a little city. Yeah, the roulettes are flying overhead. What's that? What's going on? Did you hear them? The plane, the plane. All right, I'm going to head to town. And hopefully my car will be here when I get back. I can't see a thing, but I just came back to say goodbye to everyone. My phone overheated. But now I can't see the button that I need to press to end the live because the sun's in my face. So you can just walk with me for a little while till I can end this. Oh, there's peak hour traffic right in this spot. Hurry up, people. I've got places to go. People to see. The roulettes are here. I've just got to find my other glasses so I can end this. So this is where we're going to end up after the walk, and it's like a concert of sorts. All right. My prescription funnies. Still can't see the leave button. Oh, it's down the bottom. But yeah, thanks guys so much for hanging out. And I may go live. Oh, wait. There's one roulette. Pretty cool. I've got absolutely no idea why they're here though. Up she goes. And down she goes. But yeah, I'm not sure what they're here for. Oh, loop to loop. Right, I'm going to keep walking. I've got places to go. But thank you all so much for hanging out. Sorry I wasn't able to read much of the chat. I don't know if Michelle's still around. But yeah, I listened to Jacinta's speech in the press club, and I think she made some really interesting points. But again, it didn't compel me to change my point of view. And I don't agree with people putting her phone number out there so she could be harassed and stuff like that, obviously. This is such a cool walkway that we are now under, and I can see my screen. But yeah, thank you everyone for hanging out, and I will be back. I might go live from the march, but if not, I'll see you all again very soon. Have a beautiful weekend. Happy Sunday to Australians, and to the rest of you, I hope you have a great Saturday night. We'll see you all very soon. Good night, town. Tasmania calling, signing out. Bye for now.